My name is Adriana Gentile, or Adriana Gentile, or as you'll probably know me best, Adri G. This is a look into my past to show you how I got to where I am today. Growing up, I've always been into sports. I played basketball, volleyball, I was captain of the cheerleading team, I rode horses for 13 years, so I was always into sports and living an active lifestyle. I played all these sports, I was really good at them, I loved them. And then everything changed when I found out I was pregnant at the young age of 19. I took responsibility for my actions, and my son was born on April 19, 2011, and I was 20 years old. I had a very negative pregnancy. Maybe it was because I was so young, or maybe because it was just such a negative experience for me. I've actually created quite the disconnection to my pregnancy. I was very uneducated in fitness, in nutrition, even in moisturizing. And during my pregnancy, unintentionally, I was called fat, pig, or whale. And for me, that was actually quite traumatizing. After I had my son, that's when I made the promise to myself that I will not be washed up, like it ain't in the books for me. I actually stopped checking the scale after it was tipping over 185 because my whole life I had been around 112, 115 pounds. A really defining moment that I can recall back to was just coming out of my shower and looking into the mirror and literally standing there and crying and thinking, what have I done? Because I did not look on the outside how I remember myself looking in the inside. When I had my son, I was living in the mountainous regions of BC. I was living in Squamish, and it used to take me 2 hours to run around the block. So I would push my son in his buggy, and I would push him once in the morning and once in the evening, so I was totaling at about 4 hours of cardio per day. So I did end up losing all the weight, but I actually dropped down to a very unhealthy 103 pounds because I was only doing cardio. I didn't know proper nutrition, and I had no idea about resistance training or weights. So I just looked like a Skeletor. December 2011, just before my son's 1-year birthday, that's when I got my first trainer. And that's when I noticed, holy smokes, using weights and resistance training literally makes the world of a difference. So that's when I got addicted to the gym. I was always in the gym, I just loved it. One day my girlfriend was like, hey, you're always in the gym, why don't you become a personal trainer? And I was like, that's a really good idea. I went to school for personal training. I did a full course it was about 4 months long, and Monday to Friday, full day. I graduated with my ACE certification, that's American Council on Exercise. And during my time in school, that's when my passion really started to develop, that I actually had the ability to help other people. Who better to help than other mothers themselves? Like, I just went from feeling extremely depressed, looking at myself and crying in the mirror, to running around the block for 4 hours a day, to lifting weights, and now feeling like I can help other people. Well, who can I help the best? Other mothers. So I also got certified in my pre and postnatal. That's anyone who wants to become pregnant, is pregnant, or after pregnancy. And I also continue my education by getting my TRX suspension training certification. And then I also went and got my diploma in sports nutrition, just because that's the missing link to the whole puzzle there, right, is your nutrition. My life has been really progressionary, and there's everything that I have done, which is actually, if you look back on your life, is the same for you, but I can identify mine just as I had my son, I got into exercise, then I wanted to do personal training. I got hired at a big commercial gym here in Vancouver, BC, and that's when I met one of my very close guy friends now. He's one of my best friends, and he was into competing, and he said, have you ever thought about competing before? And I said, I have no idea what competing is. My first show ever was the Sandra Wickham Fall Classic. That was on November 8th, 2014. That date, for some reason, rings clear in my head. I was just so excited at that time. And my Sandra Wickham show, I placed first. I had about a 2-month off season, and then I was back into a 14-week prep for my BC Provincials competition, which I also had placed first in. And then I jumped straight into Nationals. So I did 3 back-to-back shows in my very first time competing. Along the way, during my 3 shows, I've had the pleasure of being picked up by many sponsors, but the 2 that have been there since day 1 have been GAT Supplements and Next Level Fitness. Fast forward through that, I've done a model search in which I won here in Vancouver as well. I was brought to Olympia. I've worked at the LA Fit Expo, which now leads me to my most recent achievement, to happily tell you guys that I won first place at the Arnold Classic in Ohio, 2016. Seeing where I started to where I am today, that's the reason why I created this website, because I know that all of you have the power to do exactly what I have done and change your life completely. All you have to do is believe in yourself and believe that you can make that change, and you will make that change. I'm so passionate about this topic because fitness literally saved my life. I came from being so self-conscious, so insecure about myself, I couldn't even look at myself, to now being on stage in a bikini, doing photo shoots, loving life, and really living up to the potential that I was born with. This is my purpose, this is my destiny, and I want to help you because I know that you can do it. You know, if I can do it, you can do it. I know it's so cliche, but that's probably one of the truest statements. You know what I really believe in? You know how they say that it's 30% exercise and 70% nutrition? Well, I believe that it's 30% body and 70% mind when it comes to fitness. I've definitely trained my mind along the way, and I can thank fitness and exercise for that whole experience. It requires you to be extremely positive, extremely just optimistic on yourself, on your journey, on your purpose, on your being. And it really requires you to show that confidence by giving out good sportsmanship, being that girl backstage, handing out that last rice cake, giving her a scoop of peanut butter. Why? Because what you have is not going to impede what I have. I'm confident within myself. You know why? Because I've worked hard, and in hard work, I trust. So anytime that I'm feeling slightly insecure, all I do is close my eyes, and I envision myself at 5:30 in the morning on that step mill doing fasted cardio sprints, sweating buckets, and knowing that this is going to be my saving grace come that moment that I'm feeling any type of way. You know why? Because I've worked hard and I deserve where I am today. What makes me different from the rest and why you should be taking my advice is because I come from a place of experience. I've done the weight battle. I've been up, I've been down. I've done the mental battle because I've been up and I've been down and I've been back up again. And as well as I come from an educated background, I've done my work, I've done my schooling. And above all, I care about you, and I care about your results, and I care about helping you becoming the best version of yourself.